Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on my drama channel. So I made a video talking about Jack Doherty and sharing my thoughts about him and his content, what I think about him personally. This is part 2 of that video. So yeah, let me explain. So Jack Doherty is basically a YouTuber slash kick streamer that makes content, targeted to harass people pretty much, where he harasses and bullies people in public and threatens them. And then when he gets confronted by these people, his security guard steps in and protects him pretty much. So he makes content just to provoke people, and children love this stuff. Of course, children are young, they don't know any better, they're easily manipulated. Children are easily just drawn into this stuff. Of course, they'll defend this stuff easily. Of course, they don't know any better, that's why they're defending it in the first place. But this guy literally is harassing people in public and provoking people and threatening the people, which is why it's obviously something I can't agree with or find myself in agreement with. It's absolutely deplorable, honestly. So anyways, yeah, let's continue. Optimus made a video about Jack Doherty, talking about about his content and about his personality in general. And Penguin C0 Moist Critical Charlie, Moist Critical slash Charlie knows Jack Doherty personally. Yeah, Charlie Moist Critical slash Moist Critical knows Jack Doherty personally, and though it was only one interaction that Moist Critical had with Jack Doherty, it wasn't a very good impression of Jack Doherty. It was a negative impression on Jack Doherty that during that one time that Moist Critical slash Charlie met Jack Doherty personally. It was a negative impression when Moist Critical met Jack Doherty in person. Only one time, but it was a pretty bad impression, so it was pretty obvious that Jack Doherty was already gave Moist Critical a negative impression, and based on what everybody else said, everybody else in that video that met Jack Doherty in Penguin Z0's video about Jack Doherty, that one video from 4 years ago, all those other people felt the same exact way about Jack Doherty and about his content in general. They all thought he was obnoxious when he was interrupting people and acting like he was better than everyone else. So obviously Moist Critical had a negative impression on Jack Doherty, and so did the other people there that were in that video with Moist Critical. But yeah, Moist Critical knew him personally from that one interaction, and it was a negative impression. So obviously Moist Critical doesn't have good things to say about a lot of good things to say about Jack Doherty, and all these other content creators that made videos on Jack Doherty are saying the same exact thing. But anyways, let's continue. Jack Doherty and his content. Optimus made a video on this, so the floor is yours, Optimus. Here we go.
Infinitely more if they went and antagonized people and then just sat there and took the beating, bro. Like, the most entertaining thing that could happen when it comes to this guy and his content is for him to walk up to some 6'6" Jack Giga Chad on the sidewalk with no security and do this. I want to see this guy go to New York at 10 o'clock p.m. during the summer and do...
Yeah, I love that, honestly, Optimus's description of the guy confronting Jack Doherty. Yeah, I like that description, honestly. A big gigantitan or whatever that was. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting description, honestly. Honestly, Jack Doherty can't even confront these people personally by himself. He needs the security guards to protect him. He needs to protect his security guards to protect him. Like, oh, I need my security guards. I'm so afraid. Security guards, protect me, please. I'm so powerless. Security guards, help me. Yeah, it's pretty much what he's doing here. He provokes people in public and antagonizes them. But as soon as they fight back or at least try to fight back anyway, when they try to confront him, the security guard has to protect them from getting a beating, honestly. Let's continue.
Do this shit to a bunch of people out on the sidewalk. I want to see how that goes, when they break his face in about 3 seconds in 6 different places. That is literally the most entertaining thing that could happen, but instead of letting that happen like it should, realistically, like I said, he has to hide behind all these other people and these security guards. It really doesn't matter what you're doing, right? If your first instinct is to duck behind the real men in situations like this, you just look like a big fucking loser and a big pussy. And that's what's craziest about kids looking up to fucking weirdos like this online, right? They're not even looking up to people who actually can stand up to the challenge. They don't even look up to people who, are really about it. They look up to fucking losers who are scared to actually face the song, right? They're afraid to face the repercussions. Now, obviously, the reaction to this content has been quite negative. Every time I've ever seen anybody talk about this kid, it's just people shitting on him. And I mean, can you really blame them?
Yeah, can't really fault them for that. mean, Jack Doherty's content and his personality and his attitude is the reason why people are saying this in the first place. If his actions and his attitude, are giving people this impression, that's obvious that he has a problem. Obviously, he's doing something wrong, or people wouldn't be saying about him in the first place. So obviously, I can't fault anybody who's criticizing Jack Doherty. It's totally justified. And Optimus, I have to agree with Optimus here.
Look at the way he portrays himself. Look at the shit that he does for the world.
Local man survives a 25-story fall.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that this guy literally doesn't have a good impression on a lot of people with the way he's been acting and everything. It's his own actions that caused this mess. If he would just, stop provoking people in public, at least treat people better, maybe people wouldn't be saying all that about him in the first place.
Free housing, free food.
I don't want to sit here and pretend creators have to fucking change the world, but it's man, what are you actually doing for society, right? What benefit do you provide to everybody around you? You're not entertaining, you're not funny, you're not smart, you're not creative, you're not cool, you're not fashionable, you're not intelligent. What is the redeeming quality here except for hoping that you get your fucking jawline rearranged? I don't really even understand what the content actually is here, right?
Yeah, I have to agree with Optimus here. In order to get attention on YouTube, you have to be creative, you have to be unique, you have to get people's attention, you have to be of use, you have to be of value. You have to be of use and you have to be valuable in order for people to want to watch your content. You have to make people like you. You have to make people appreciate your content, actually make something unique, actually make wholesome content that people actually appreciate, make a mark on this platform in order to make it big on here. I don't think provoking people in public and harassing them as the only thing you do for content is going to get people to like you and to get people's attention. Well, we'll get attention, just not the attention you want from people that are not children, don't know any better, of course. You're not going to get relevant attention from people that are way older, that are more mature, and they're not going to be impressed by all of this. So I'm just saying, if you want to get people's attention and get people to respect you, maybe do something to get people to like you. Maybe just just don't do this content. Maybe change your content, change your strategy, maybe do something to get people to like you. Maybe do something that'll get people to actually respect you and not think of you negatively, Maybe do something that'll make content that actually make people respect you, and maybe stuff that isn't disrespecting people or harassing people in public. I'm just saying.
I mean, imagine actually coming home from school or work or whatever and sitting down and watching this shit. And I mean, if we're being honest too here, right? The old man low-key kind of had him, right? The old man caught him slipping a little bit. That's kind of a problem. What happened with your security guard? Why isn't he aware of the fucking surroundings? Because, I mean, think about it this way, right? If elderly men outside are fucking sneaking this kid that just happened, bro. Imagine what's going to happen when he runs into somebody who's actually about it, what are the odds this kid ends up running into a fucking MMA kickboxer, or ends up running into a fucking armed civilian who has nothing to lose? I mean, honestly, that's what I personally, if I were him, would be worried about right there. Going around in public fucking with people, just...
Yeah, I have to agree with Optimus there as well. With that point as well, because, I mean, there are so many people out there with weapons. America is a dangerous place now because of all these mass shootings and all these random acts of violence. So, of course, Jack Doherty should be taking that into consideration. He's considering what other people may be doing, what they could be thinking. Jack Doherty should take that into consideration. He should be worried about what other people may be doing, what they could do in reaction to his content, because people can react and snap at any time. Jack Doherty could provoke the wrong person, could, mess with the wrong person in public and get a negative reaction out of that. And obviously it won't be good for him if that were the case. If he runs into the wrong person and gets a provoked reaction, it won't be good for him. I'm just saying, he's got to do something about it and at least stop provoking people in public. People are going to react in not the way he'd want them to react with. So he's going to have to do something about that, I'm just saying, people are not going to respond well to his content. So he's got to take that into consideration. People can react and snap at any time, and he better prepare himself for that when that happens.
Antagonizing them, starting fights, being a loser, right? Eventually, it feels like he's going to run into somebody who, once again, they've got a fucking 38 special on their hip. They got really nothing to lose at home, and they're like, you know what, fuck it, this kid could die today. And that's what's crazy about situations like this, is they either don't take that into account or they don't care. But like, that is a very genuinely real possibility, bro. People die over stupid shit every day. There's people who get killed over fucking tennis shoes. There's people who get killed over waiting in line at fucking drive-thrus. There's people...
Yeah, I have to agree. People get killed over the slightest things every single day. Like, you see people getting shot up for no reason, you know, simply because they did something they didn't like. They were waiting in line for ketchup or something. They were trying to get food from a restaurant, you know. Anything can happen to people at any time. And for Jack Doherty to disregard that and just simply pretend like as if there's nothing wrong with provoking people in public is definitely alarming, at the very least. He should watch himself. If he makes the wrong move, you know, people are not going to like that. I'm just saying, you know.
People who get killed in gas stations. Like, there's people who die every day in the most unexpected places, and like, you know, in ways that people would not think that they'd be dying, right? But you really think that just fucking walking around on the sidewalk and rolling the dice on whoever you're confronting, not being a psychopath with a gun, you think that's viable long term for content? Because let's be real here, like, yeah, this whole style of content or whatever works when he's going up to fucking 60-year-old men with their grandkids or whatever out in public. He can fuck with them, right? Because most of them can't physically respond to him or his bodyguards. But that bodyguard ain't gonna really mean shit if he runs into some dude with a fucking extended mag Glock 18 waiting on his ass. He, his family, and that security guard could be emptied out in a fucking single magazine. And that's the problem that these people don't ever seem to address. Like,
Yeah, I have to agree with Optimus there. You know, Jack Doherty has been provoking people, harassing people with his content, you know, getting his security guards to protect him from backlash. I'm just saying, you know, if someone has a gun or a Glock or some of those other weapons, you know, it's not going to be enough to... A security guard won't be enough to protect them, you know. I'm just saying, the security guard's not going to be enough to protect them if someone goes all if some psychopath goes all insane and decides to, like, you know, instigate something, decides to provoke a reaction. You know, if someone, like, has a negative reaction to what Jack Doherty does, if Doherty provokes him too many times, he may act out in a way that, you know, that he may not appreciate. And if that happens, well, it won't look good. I'm just saying, you know, it's not going to be good if you provoke the wrong person with your antics. The world is not about YouTube content. I'm just saying.
You're literally walking around just crap shooting on whether or not you're gonna die. And the lamest part about all of it is just how disrespectful and how much of an actual douchebag this kid is, right? Like, it's not even just that he's going around fucking with people in public, making lame content, getting this weird massive ego he doesn't deserve. It's the fact that he's so fucking disrespectful and mean to everybody, right? Like,
Yeah, I have to agree with Optimus there. He's so disrespectful.
He genuinely seems to think he's just better than...
Yeah, I have to agree with Optimus there. He acts so disrespectful in public. He treats everyone terribly. He acts like he's better than everybody else. He acts arrogant, disrespectful, you know, entitled, conceited. And then he wonders why people are having problems with his behavior and people dislike him. Well, it's because of your attitude and the way you treat people. That's why. If you want people to respect you, you have to give respect. In order to earn respect, you have to give respect. And he's not doing that clearly with his content, with him provoking people in public and harassing them, you know, in public. I'm just saying.
Than people. I mean, yeah, social media has seen a million of these fucking basic white boys with the fucking broccoli cut, walking around acting like entitled douchebags. And I can say all that because I am a white boy myself, so I can say whatever I want about the crackers, okay? Oh, shit, I probably just pissed off some whites. But anyway... Like, that's the thing. Like, these guys, they walk around looking like this, acting like this, just looking like a fucking 16-year-old high school boy. And then, like, they walk around in public doing this shit, and they anticipate that there won't be any sort of real repercussions. But, like, that's just not going to be the case someday. It just is also kind of...
Yeah, I think I'll stop with Optimus's video there. Optimus says pretty much exactly what I'm thinking. Optimus told you guys exactly what he thought, and even Optimus says it. You know, someday Jack Doherty will provoke the wrong person. He'll say the wrong thing, he'll do the wrong thing, and it's going to come back in not in a good way, honestly. Like, you keep provoking people, and people are going to get pissed off. You know, you can't just provoke people in public and expect to be not there to be any backlash. Now, personally, if I was being provoked like this, I wouldn't respond like this because, I mean, I don't obviously care. I just move on and ignore the guy. But other people aren't going to be so open-minded. You know, other people are not going to be open-minded. They're not going to be like, you know, they're not going to be open-minded. They're not going to be like accepting. They're not going to be like, you know, they're not just going to accept this and just not do anything about it. You know, they're going to react. They're going to act out in a way that that Jack Doherty won't like. They're going to take action, and Jack Doherty is obviously going to be facing a lot of problems when that happens, you know. Like, I'm not saying that he deserves this. He would deserve what happens to him, but at the same time, however, he did provoke people and harass people repeatedly with his attitude and behavior numerous times, and his attitude towards and the way he talks to other people is enough to pretty much says more than enough about him, honestly. His behavior speaks for itself, you know. Jack Doherty better change his ways, or it won't look good for him in the future. I'm just saying. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. My second part to my response to Jack Doherty, the two-part videos I made, take everybody. Yeah, my response to Jack Doherty and my thoughts about his content, behavior, and his attitude in public and the way he's been provoking people. But take everybody. Another video from my drama channel.